In the early 90s, Chris Columbus was the biggest name in Hollywood when it came to family films. He had this way of capturing humor, art, and spectacle in all his films, taking the most ridiculous and out there concepts and managing to perfectly translate them to the big screen. That's why in 1995, Fox hired Chris Columbus to adapt the Fantastic Four to the big screen, with Chris Columbus even bringing on actor Dennis Quaid and actress Meg Ryan to play Reed Richards and Sue Storm, with Christopher Columbus attached to direct Fantastic Four. Writer Michael Chabon came in to pitch his version of a Fantastic Four film. Michael Chabon's Fantastic Four pitch envisioned a film that fully embraced the team's original sense of wonder and adventure, rejecting the trend of darker superhero stories. Instead of an origin story, the film would take place in a world where the Fantastic Four were already beloved celebrity heroes, their status highlighted in an opening scene where tourists explore the Baxter Building, reminiscent of Jurassic Park. This world would be a retro-futuristic utopia that maintains the aesthetic of the 1960s, a world of optimism, progress, miracles, and spaceships, with New York City being a shining capital of progress and optimism. The film's villain, Dr. Doom, uncovers a disturbing truth. This timeline is not the correct one. Through his research into the timeline, he identifies a single important life, whose existence set this brighter reality into motion, and he sets out to erase them from history to restore the world to what it's meant to be. The Fantastic Four must race against time to stop him, protecting not just a person, but the very fabric of their reality. Alongside this grand sci-fi adventure, the film would explore personal stakes for the team, particularly Reed Richards and Sue Storm's relationship, as they must reevaluate what their love for each other truly means. Chabon's vision was a bold departure from the conventional superhero film, an unapologetically weird, colorful, and thrilling sci-fi adventure, a comic come to life. Despite Michael Chabon's pitch, it seemed Columbus and Fox decided to move forward with a different writer, bringing on Michael France to pen the screenplay. In 1996, France turned in his draft of the script, which, similar to Michael Chabon's outline, was heavily inspired by the Ditko and Stan Lee era of Fantastic Four comics. However, this time, with more of an emphasis on the heroes' origin stories and their attempt to reconcile with their new identities. This Fantastic Four film follows the team as astronauts on a groundbreaking mission to the International Space Station, where they work alongside Viktor Obrecht, a brilliant but arrogant Russian scientist. Reed Richards leads the mission, with Sue Storm as a respected scientist, Johnny Storm as an Air Force pilot, and Ben Grimm as a veteran pilot who has a bitter relationship with Reed Richards. The crew is developing advanced nanotechnology capable of rewriting matter at a molecular level, a project that Reed sees as a way to revolutionize medicine and end world hunger. However, tensions arise when Viktor insists on moving forward with live testing on animals, something Reed refuses to allow, taking matters into his own hands. Viktor manipulates events, leading to a catastrophic malfunction in the station's nano laser. The resulting explosion exposes the crew to the nano laser energy before they crash land back on Earth. Now undergoing bizarre physical transformations, the four are placed into government quarantine in an attempt to study their abilities. However, the team escapes and makes their public debut by stopping a terrorist attack in Times Square. Meanwhile, Viktor, who also survived, has been physically transformed, his body now a fusion of man and machine with liquid metal abilities. He lands in Latveria, seizing control of the country and rebranding himself as Dr. Doom. Blaming Reed for his fate, Doom declares war on the United States and uses his nanotechnology to dissolve the UN building, forcing the Fantastic Four to confront Dr. Doom. As the team struggles with internal conflicts, Ben resenting his monstrous form, Sue frustrated with Reed's guilt-driven obsession and Johnny questioning his place in this new reality. They must find a way to accept who they are and work as a team and family. The final battle in Latveria pushes them to their limits, but they ultimately defeat Doom, with Ben making the difficult choice to remain the Thing despite being offered a cure. The film ends on a hopeful note with Reed and Sue's wedding as the Fantastic Four take off in the Fantasticar, ready for their next adventure. Michael Franc's script, much like Michael Chapin's script, completely captured the magic of the Fantastic Four with the humor, heart, and fantastical world we've come to know the series for, which was actually at this film's detriment. You see, not only was France's script too long, going into the 3-hour range, but the spectacle and larger-than-life nature of the script means that if the script was ever adapted, the budget would likely balloon past $280 million, especially when you include the Fantastic Four's powers, which would not be cheap to adapt. There was also the fact that Columbus struggled in general to adapt the Fantastic Four to the big screen, with Columbus believing that there was no way the powers of the Fantastic Four could be believably translated to the big screen. Despite working on the project for about 2 years, Columbus's wish to work on other projects caused him to leave the film altogether, staying on as a producer. The film would continue to be developed, with new writers and directors coming in, eventually leading to the release of the 2005 film, which keeps some elements and plot beats from the earlier scripts. Now what's cool is that because this film was pretty deep in development, there is artwork depicting what this Fantastic Four film could have looked like, illustrated by artist Tim Flattery. This artwork, of course, depicts the entire Fantastic Four, who are clad in more futuristic-like attire, appearing like armor of some sort. What you'll notice is that the Thing takes on this smaller, gray appearance, which is a unique reinvention of the look. There's another illustration of Sue Storm, who has a more traditional Fantastic Four outfit with a white collar rather than the usual black. There's also this concept of Johnny Storm wearing a similar type of attire. This strange 3D model appears to show the city skyline, with the Baxter Building drawing our attention. Finally, there's this art of Dr. Doom, who has this unique and elaborate design for his mask, which comes across as a metallic version of his facial muscles. According to the script, Doom's mask appeared like something created by H.R. Giger, so it seems that was the feeling Flattery was trying to evoke. It's important to know that these artworks in no way reflect what the movie would have looked like. Hell, some of these illustrations were made years after Columbus left the project as director. I'm sure if Columbus had stayed on the project, the film would have been visually stunning and would have been something we've never seen before in a superhero story.